Nanso yamamwa jo emamwa kwaba ediba home based TV program ato din se edi yemre bigidi se motemu TV achi a moye krado se mo ba behwe program no eho nyankopon isham papa se kwasie de nwumre bia bo no nsia kan na wote TV achi e ba behwe program no nyankopon te asefo no ishra program a wo hwe no obetime nyan e wo Facebook oko home based TV a na me pa cho wa like no wa share se de be ye wonu bia on TV achi no baby biara owo no ono so betime nya kwanya na wahwe bi tesremo amon hye no so sa emfa man enu achi no so obeka me ho na yamma adofo a ehwe program yi wo Royal TV de mamu nyina so akwaba nyankopon ti asefo no enhyiram na program yi setimi ba wakwan so a na ye mo adaroma sika mo de mane yen kakra no eni titia ne akabom de atwa airtime no say stations a program no fa so no e maako and 94 e bia ye 1 hour nti sika etua no enye sika ketwa ti be koso asrem se momode na montu sika bi mane yen se de be betime enye sika e de atua airtime bi ho nyankopon insham ye from asuafu de hye kufika kare na enyame nkona mo ha evangelist the researcher Joseph Ananenso wa ha evangelist e mo adwo e mo akwaba
yeah
se men fro bom pie so boga o se say yemfa kwanya so ne na bom pie so minim se mabodi ni ya mamoni dia mamfa cheme ye ho nyankopon hyiram papa enra ese program no ko so kama mentimi amabi nenso na me wo ho no ma de ekoso bia no me so ye update me kama osofo a woda asafuna no sofo iho nyankopon hyiram papa enwechi no pani Jonathan Adade woni group Muhammad ye no ye nsaka iho nyankopon hyiram so papa na enne topic a ye hwe no ya to din se the climate change gospel bobre since you beto ewia bebo ni nyina keka bomu a me brofo kese ne climate change ne no wo de aba ha be patanyam so ho keka nsem bia what to bible no ho a na chese esipai enne ne ye ba behwe ho asem ne aka ne no part 1 it is why crado me so my crado send a WhatsApp message no bra ye beje bre ya kenkan eliama evangelist me samu akwaba biu
the
climate change gospel part 1
yeah the nyankopon ase we the message am out biu say and now happy Father's Day.
That's right.
Remember no man from the grandma me say ba me nkyerɛ mo mo hwɛ so mo we show happy Father's Day. Na yen we say ye nyina home base
messages na to say the nsuo ye da o ase e bo nkyerɛ
yeah da home base for nyina
na nso agya wo be wo ba na wa hwɛ no na wa atwea wo ne de wa nkasa wo bo hwɛ na da agigi utiri
good I have found it here for ntias yese o agya bia ni ho a wa wo ne ba a odon na akola no afom kwa na se waye brebi na e ontrentre no.
That's right.
Omo pasade won to omutiri afa ye bekasa.
That's right.
Isaiah e kan sembe wo etedu num wotwe Isaiah 58 verse 1.
Okay.
What say tiemu denden ma wanne so tise tutubento neka memman emrato e kire wo no.
That's right.
Ene Jacob fie boni odru kire mienu no a o se omo hwehwe me da biara da
e wo mo hwehwe me da biara
aha
na opese ohunu makwan se jama oye oman bia wodi asentene ne na onya wo nyankopon ahyede no obisa me ho asentene ne opese opinche onyankopon
sa omo ye ho jama asede de ye Christopher.
That's right.
Eno na Bible no kire mo se yen tia mo denden yen mom se da tutubento bom no nenka Jacob fie ene nyankopon man emrato e kire wo no.
That's right.
Bible say Christopher ye kan no crash ye hu nien what do catch him that climate change gospel no mo be e koso obi ase Christopher asheda aye boapa ai achese aboapa asheda de ne den akata mo ni se wo enye ya nso ade no afiri om.
That's right.
Tina Bible say yen pege yani yen mum ne ko bon nkire wo.
That's right.
Na said ya kan edi se me 3 miensa chemu do nkro so se do do am do wo mo.
Me you want 10.
Yes.
Na me twa na so.
Me twa na so. enti bɛde nyankopɔn yɛka nyankopɔn yɛ ɔdɔ na ɔntwe yɛ aso yɛ bibia nyankopɔn hwɛ nsa ɔdɔ yɛ ntino kyɛ sɛ yɛ bɔne ɔhwɛ wiase saa
akɔdaasa wɔyɛ bɔne a wɔntwe na so no na kyɛ woyɛɛ no na emu wontete no
yes enti no saa na Paul kyerɛ mu wɔ Hebrewfo atwerɛ no ɛkyɛ du mmienu kyerɛkyɛ mu enum de kɔsi ɛnwɔtwe wo sɛ ɔkae sɛ oduru verse 8 a mede Hebrews chapter 12 verse 7 and 8 7 no can say if you endure chastening God dealeth with you as with sons for what son is he whom the father chasteneth not ɛne nea yɛkan ɛna kɔpɛ sɛ onyankopɔn de ɔdɔ no ɔtwe n'aso
that's right
twe ɔtwe aso no kyerɛ sɛ ɔde tenetene menka ne saa na wohwɛ twerɛsɛm mu a ɛsisi saa ɔhen Nebukadnezar Daniel atwerɛ no ɛtiri 9 kyekyemu aduonu nson de kɔsi aduasa mmiɛnsa ɛbra na ɔma no ho so ɔde nyankopɔn ma ɛtu dwam yɛbɔ no kɔkɔ nyinaa no sɛ wantie
that's right
enti ɛbaa sɛ onyankopɔn bɛtene no ɔma ne dane aboa ɛkɔtena wira mu mpie nso
that's right
ɔno nko ne yɛyɛ ne saa
ɛnyɛ
ɔma mu nyina ne yere koraa no ne dada mpa baako so ayɛ aka na nhyɛ mu bi ɔno nko a ɛyɛ atenetene ne bi ɔno sɛ wɔfiri wura mu hɔ baeɛ no
wɔsakrae
yes ɔno na bɛka sɛ nyankopɔn ɔyɛ biribi a obi ne ho kwan sɛ obisa ne saa de na woyɛ sɛ
that's right
wakɔsua nyansa aba ɛyɛ ɔno nko a ɛtɔ so mmienu wɔn sɛ Israel brɛ so ɛbrɛ a wɔyɛ bɔne to nyankopɔn mmara de kɔ sɛ Elijah bae na Elijah ka kyerɛ ɔhene sɛ Yehowa te ase osua na sɛ bosu baako nka asase so gye sɛ ɛnam anum asɛm
that's right
ɛno ne yɛ ɔman mu nyinara nti nyankopɔn ma ɛkɔm ɛbaa Israel sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a wɔde bɛkyerɛ ɔmo akwan na ɔmo gya ne mmara no ɛtoɔ na ɔmo aba ɔno nyankopɔn nkyɛn ebi nso na ɛwɔ Amos ɛtiri 9 kyekyemu nsia de kɔsi 12 nyankopɔn kyerɛ mu sɛ ɛtɔ biribi a ɔma osuo ɛtɔgu ekuro anaa borɔno baako so na wɔgya bi hɔ
na ɔmo ayɛ kware
pɛpɛpɛ na ama ɛkɔm aba hɔ no nyinaa de mirika akɔgu baabi a aduane wɔ no na ɔma pɛ bi adi na wɔasan dane ne bi mu na ɔyɛ saa no a ɔse ɛno koraa no ɛnka wɔm na ɔmo asakora ɔmo adwen afei ɔde yare ɔde owuyareɛ ekunkom mmeranteɛ ne ɔmo ayewa ɛnso so ansakyerɛ wɔ no nti ɔbɔ nkɔkɔ sɛ san na wayɛ wɔm nyinaa na ɔmo anhu kwan ansakra ama nti no ɔnhyɛ hyɛ ɔmo ho ɛntwɛn deɛ ɛba
that's right
yes nti no yɛka kyerɛ wiase sɛ onyankopɔn ɔda so te n'ahonya so ɔda so te n'ahenni so te n'akonnwa so
that's right
nti ɛntimi mma sɛ nneɛma bɔne bɛkɔ so wɔ wiase na nyankopɔn ɔbɛhwɛ yɛn saa na ɔntenetene yɛn ɛnsi da na ɛyɛ kristofoɔ asɛdeɛ sɛ yɛhwɛ na baabi a wiase no yɛto nyankopɔn mmara no yɛbɔ de buru ɛbɔ ɔman no kɔkɔ sɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛmfa yɛnkɔ saa asotwe no fɛ sɛ ɛba a ɛka yɛ nyinaa woyi Israel ma mu deɛ no si hɔ a afei wiase nyinara ebi esi pɛn no wabrɛ so nyankopɔn kae ɔsɛ honam nyinaa wieyɛ abɛdu m'anim ɛnso nyankopɔn ma osuo ɛsɛe
that's right
enti no ɛnɛ sɛ mpanimfoɔ akɔyɛ nhwehwɛmu ɛho sɛ nyankopɔn ɛkyɛ sɛ wiem asakra abɔbrɛ ne
ɔbrɛ no asesa ɛbrɛ sɛ nsuo tɔ ɛntɔ ɛbrɛ ni sɛ ɛtɔ na ɛtɔ awie ɛbɔ na hoɔden nsuo yiri ɛne nneɛma bi saa ɛkɔ so a
na sɛ sɛ ɛtosɛfo ho akyerɛ ka sɛ dabi bibi ɛkɔ so nyankopɔn kasa kyerɛ yɛ na abakɔsɛm a yɛwɔ twerɛsɛm edi adanseɛ sɛ ɛbere bi maayɛ na ɛnsi nso da so nyankopɔn wɔkɔ tenetwe obi anaasɛ wɔkɔtwa obi aso na prɛkopɔ fiti ya no da so twɛ no akɔma nipa no agye sɛ ɔbɔ no kɔkɔ ansa
that's right
ɔmo pa ɔmo fa ɔmo adwen ɛnkɔ Sodom abɔfoɔ no ɛka kyerɛ Lot sɛ kɔ na kɔbɔ ɔmo amaneɛ yɛbɛsɛ kuro yi enti no sɛ wowɔ aseɛ ɔgyere okunu anaasɛ obi biara wɔmpie fi kuro no
that's right
wɔnyɛ tie no ɛyɛ mmiɛnsa pɛ Lot ne ma mmienu ne yere kora mpo no kwan so no
wɔanu
ɛno no yɛbɔ ɔman no kɔkɔ ansa na ɔgya ne ba ɔba Jerusalem sɛ yɛ yɛbɔ ɔman no kɔkɔ sɛ ɔho sɛ kyiwadeɛ bɔ ɔman no abɛdwa kono ho ahyia a monwane kɔkɔbɔ no wɔ hɔ nti no yɛnyɛ ɛwɔ TV so ha kyerɛ sɛ wiase yɛbɔ ne yɛdu nyankopɔn anim na kyerɛ sɛ ɛbra so nyankopɔn no ɔtere ne nsa ba wiase na ansana no ɔbɛdi ka bɔ yɛ kɔkɔ na kokobon kransem no en na wo edisem etedu nai chechemu nsia de kosi du baako o se chechemu nsia no ba bi o kan se na me hu obofo foforo a otunam oyi osun finfini
ikura da sempa e ko katre wona o te asase so
sa sem no pacho ensempakafo entie ne yie no mo ne so wo se bofo no onam osun finfini ne nan enka asase so na otiem wo ho a wo ye wasase so ne yete so o se asempa no wo de ma asase so fo ene amanaman ene abusuoku ene kasa ene nipa
that's right
etino abofo ya wo mutunam wiem wo modi asempa na mi wo modi branye wasase so aye awiye bremu kokobon kransem wenum ankwa ma adam bresofo ankwa ma noa dabi we aye won ya wiase wi ye beto ato no omo kransem ni na no nkyere se efri adam breso no kokobon kransem ni ewo ho na abre ne bran biara won to so biara no die nyakopon de ma wo
kansana na sotwe aba
yes pese yenye de no de akogina osonso de ye tie no ene de ye som no ehun kokobon nyakopon wo bo maye no bale wo de maye no na o de kokobon no ba no wa kire o de be di ekira ba se be ya wo ba dwun hu mienu enti no Isaiah kan se na bi nya Isaiah nyuntuni David o kan wa nyum adonum num chechemo miensa ne nan so se ye nyankopon no obeba yes na oja etu edinanim oh enti no onyankopon de oja beba na on pese obeba prekope na ja na dinanim na wo ehye ade da bi na mu obeba okoko se de mi ba be ye ni
that's right
enti uti kokoko no a na fe wasakra wadwen eno pa ho a Bible me ti ase wo edi se metrin so chechemo baako mienu miensa eho na bofo etiam ekire abofo nan a yedi yasasi ama wonum etiefo ne agidifo na hwefo ntiase se wiase ya yewumi Ghana ka ho yewo abofo nan anyakopon de wiase nyina ahye omo nsem
that's right
se omo ha wiase yanka se omo nsem no no mo boy nyakopon na be se na de ko no boy ba abofo de si omo ha wiase
that's right
na ha ombe ha wiase no esimo omo ha asase epo anase enua nyoma miensen na twere no bodi
okay
di ko se ye de
ejina ye besisi nyankopon ko amoma so ansa
sa enti no me pacho so ye babo suani a ye ka se asase epo ni enua ena yen abofo no omo ba ho bai e ka sa pe na je se biribi wo sa nyema miensen yi mu e se abofo no ehwe so me sha se fri enua so nyakopon bo nyema nyina wieye a bo e di true se bible chere mo se ode enkwadua esi ho
that's right
eye dua eso aba eno na nipa dia ebemma watena se ache wasase so enti moni bae no ye pamo nipa efri enkwadua no enyakopon hye obofo se onko gina ho na onwen dua no nyankotie ani eno eye baako ebio emotion mo meto so enum etre duenu chichemu donkron e won so chire mo chire ye se enua no esi asase so na sisi wo ye ntwitwa
so no mai bi kodi akọ na udi no so fa no domu a enua esisi ho de me ntwitwa
pe so se enua no eno na eye nipa enkwa
that's right
entene enua no ma ye emframa ye home na ye nso de ye di pia ba bonte ye home ba
no no afa no
sa tino enua aye de eboa ma nipa enkwa etrase ana ye che wasase so ti o kase ma o enua na ni nchiri mu nye nua kakadi nua na mo kasa wo ha
okay
won se edi sem ho ano abiem etre mienu kire mu nso so se de owaso no onje na honhom ka kire asafo no
that's right
na de obedi nkunim no mema no enkwadua ba no ye de edi de si paradise biblo enti no mamu ha epo asase anase nua no enye nua keke na mo enua no se abofo ne saka nua no a ebeka nipa nkwa
fama esi ehome yenya enuane yamba esi yenya ni
wo mo yade ya abai se adude ya den a ye se ye de information so information ye se no so efiri
Nnuye ya ne de
nnuye ya ne de maye enti se omo ne saka nnua no a se so omo de omo saka nipa nkwa
that's right
se na omo ka se mamu ha nnua
ntwe kakra
nsa na atwan mu no omo na no nkire se bibi nsi o omo keka nnua no kakra na no na ebema a bible suafo ache ase se asam no ababo aka no eno na ahye ase
popoye ena afrase
se ye kire ye bewie miaye wedding garment very good ebra na ye kire sa ne mayimu osu ada ne moja ne ho nkro ne ba no se ye kire mu se ebra Nyankopon osoma a Moses se kwana kwaji me man firi Misraim no o kan se Israel aye na bakan
that's right
se ohen Pharaoh wa ma obekum na bakan sa ne Nyankopon kan ye wan kan hwe se obema nsu ada ne moja anase obesuma wo yade wan kan hwe se mponkyere ne beba Misraim wan ka bia so se be ya ebetwe oman na dwen aba Onyankopon asem so se die Nyankopon aka no ebeba nti no o hyase na o mansu ada ne moja na o man mponkyere ne aba krom na emo ahodo bi aba kekeke nipa na fa esuma duru Misraim asase na nyina na o twa modwen esi kase na eba no so
that's right
sa na bofo na nsoso no o modwuma amnesty nnuye no o meha nnuya no asase no meha no ene ponso so no meha no na mom emma prakope o be ne kakran enti no abode onyasapefo atese o mata se hu se da bi ensatere bi abawi ase no ye no de ye hu no se abofo no e kasa kire
that's right Nyankopon afrase e keka no
sa na no na nkonhye mu no ye ka se Nyankopon adom ahyase etwi ne ho efiri asase no ene
asodin ti me ho ntene dipa mu nkosi da
sa enje se Christopher hu no se bribi nsi kwa se osio nto ba bi emre tintintин ye wo bra nso osio to ye gitum ene wo bra so nso nto ye gitum nemu baye afe mienu enum mfie du na esio nto nsi asase ba na se bro no bi so a Christopher ho entrance hu se na mantem hafo no e de na akoso wo no mu Nyankopon tem
that's right
no mu timi hu kan kire wo no eno ne ye akoso wo tetibire mu
ye Christopher no
yes
because science for them meaning say dodo na anyi ntum se Nyankopon na mensuo to
de be mo de mo nyi
be ka kire so ye relief rainfall cyclonic and convention into be no na kwam bi apa but Christo ni de hwe no through the eyes of the Bible
na asoye bi wo America omo na eba no Nyankopon adebo nyema Nyankopon abo epo ensuo empo mframa e fire ho nnua ne ho nkro ba nyina no wo ayehwe mu fa ho na afi de atwa mu na mo akire mu de ekoso na mo akire mu de beba so na mo de tudwa ye from National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration
okay
na eba no nyema ekoso eposo a ahye ene eposo akasa de yentime won se omtuma po bi ankasa omo no mo kire mu se epo ne da ho no emframa ye home nipa ye home no emu beye ohamo chiom enchemu eduonunum because eduonu wotwede ye nya firi epo
okay
epo na etwa wiase ho ahia no emframa ye nipa ye home metie emframa me home no emu nchemu eduonu because eduonu wotwede me gifiri epo
okay
niaka no eye nnua endi se asem se me hepo anase nnua na opa akasem bi akere
okay
asoye ho na kro no kire mo se yedua nnua ni ye ka no po ba ko anase 1 acre yedua nnua dodo saa no a de timi ma ye ne se afi bia no eno nko a betimi ama enipa dongotwe emprama mbe ho me no de be ma wo free nipa dongotwe afi ba ko wo dua nnua po ba ko 1 acre nnua no mframa no de be mframa no be bogu wi mu no etimi emma nipa dongotwe enkwa afi ba ko
that's right
ti se abofo ne se mamu ha nnua no a ti se so mo ka nnua no a nipa nkwa ho beka de adru de ti se hyase yi videos nti
okay adofo no se de ye be frase me share mo bona na ye videos makomako 8 a ye be ye na mesra mo ada ye be mo bon sorry bidding program yi mu wabra part 1 part 2 part 3 ekon ye bo wa sorry din a se be paso pa mo so nye no de ye ni pese de be ye nti ase no e betumi abanti best production video 1 to 4 somewhere crowd mo ro am I
Heat makes for miserable work on the fire lines in Arizona. The Telegraph fire burning near the Miami Globe area has now burned more than 123,000 acres. And while fire crews have it 68% contained, some communities are still evacuated south of Globe. Today, crews confirmed the Telegraph fire merged with the Mescal fire during some burnout operations overnight. State Route 77 remains closed in that area as crews work to extend those containment lines. And firefighters dealt with the heat today as they worked to protect all the homes in the evacuated areas.
One rancher says as she drove away from her property, a wall of flames was trailing behind her. Our Carissa Planell joining us live.
All this week, we focused on the rising fire risk in the West, the extreme drought, and the threat to farming and wildlife. This morning, 5 wildfires are burning in Utah, and the governor has declared a drought emergency there. The Great Salt Lake is expected to reach its lowest point in modern history this year. Jonathan Bigliotti shows how the lack of water affects lives and livelihoods in Utah, where many farmers are struggling just to keep their crops alive.
I don't know how long we can survive because I don't know how bad it's going to get.
On his property north of Salt Lake City, 6th-generation farmer Ron Gibson is covering his crops with plastic to conserve water. His water allocation was cut by 70%.
If we don't get these crops to market, we can't survive.
He also says the cost of feeding his dairy cows has doubled in a year.
When agriculture's gone, then our ability to produce food is gone. That's what scares me the most about this whole situation.
The entire state of Utah is experiencing drought, more than 90% in an extreme category.
We would be standing underwater had it been a normal water year.
We met Zach Frankel, executive director of the Utah Rivers Council at the Great Salt Lake.
90% of our precipitation comes in the winter and snow. As our winter air temperatures continue to rise, we're getting less and less snow in our mountains.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox has declared a state of emergency and called on people in Utah to reduce their water use and pray for rain.
We need some divine intervention.
So when the governor says, pray for rain, what do you say to that?
I say, the Lord helps those who help themselves. And the question is, are state leaders willing to accept that this is not a short-term drought, but that this is long-term climate change?
Utah is the second driest state in the country, but has some of the highest public water consumption per capita. Back on the farm, Gibson says a continued water crisis means an uncertain future.
Your family's been doing this for 152 years. That's many generations. Do you worry that this is the last generation of farming in your family?
You know, I can't sleep at night most nights because that's exactly the concern.
We're told this marina would normally be floating on about 10 feet of water, but like much of the state, it has dried up. Utah feeds the Colorado River, and less water in the state means trouble downstream, impacting nearly 40 million people in 7 states. For CBS This Morning, Jonathan Vigliotti, Antelope Island in Utah's.
The California wildfires have set a new record, scorching more than 4 million acres this year, an area twice the size of the state of Connecticut. That's more than double California's previous record in 2018, when the state saw its deadliest blaze that killed 85 people around the town of Paradise. On Sunday, the state's fire agency, CAL FIRE, said over 24 people have died in this year's fires so far, while nearly 8,500 homes and other structures have been destroyed. California has suffered 5 of its 6 largest wildfires in history this year, sparked by heat waves, dry lightning sieges, and overall drier conditions, which climate scientists blame on global warming. The state suffered a prolonged drought from around 2010 to 2017, causing diseases and insect infestations that killed millions of trees. That followed a century of fire suppression, which built up brush and dead trees, turning some forests into tinderboxes. Add to that high real estate prices in cities and second home construction that has meant communities being built up in peripheral wildland areas that have naturally burned for millennia. Several major wildfires swept California and Oregon this summer, engulfing cities along the west coast in flames and hazy orange smoke. In Napa County, California's world-renowned wine country, the so-called glass fire has damaged over a dozen wineries and threatened the livelihood of many crops which have suffered from smoke exposure. CAL FIRE says firefighters are expected to get a break this week thanks to cooler temperatures in Northern California, along with a chance of rain.
Of the country. And I'm going to go over some comparisons from Australia wildfires and California wildfires, something that we've been talking about a lot recently with some of the catastrophic and biggest wildfires ever in state history. First of all, let's take a look at the three causes for Australia wildfires: climate change, potentially arson, and then this one, land management. We've been talking a lot about that in California. Are we clearing enough or doing enough to prevent the rapid spread of wildfires, considering the warmer, drier climate that we've been heading into? Speaking of drier, take a look at this satellite image. Not much going on throughout the entire country. We've seen some hit and miss showers here. Not enough, certainly, to put out any of the wildfires burning throughout the country. So a lot of personnel flying out from the states and other countries just trying to help in the efforts to contain some of those fires. And when I put this on here, you can see all the areas that they're dealing with wildfires all along most of the coastline, some inland as well. But how far does it reach? Take a look at the north to south miles that we cover all the way from Melbourne to the northern part of the country. That's roughly 1,800 miles. That doesn't even compare to California. You have to head all the way into British Columbia, past Vancouver, to even get that far across the west coast. So we're talking all the way from San Diego to Vancouver is about 1,200 miles. Imagine even farther north into Canada with fires burning all along the coastline. So now let's start to
any videos are active, and yet the aboy trip and the AC, we are similar. Now, Osha won't tell you. Ghana Hanman did this suggestion, because a pound one tap a bit, and then noon a tenning, and a man by Uncle Evangelist or no chimney evangelist.
Mo ye da sujina, Mamma has her say, apple, and I say, and you read the India. So Yakupo Yaduma, your son, but now she said, you better put it.
That's right.
For say, above one. Ye who drums, Trossam say, or Mudomosa, I can't no may. Now, no, my advance says to say, Yacopo or Sonny Mano, Nan so I no sono agina Christus of wine so. Tinia cano, a bam a pesse after 4 from say, video ye, a bomb kaye say, Christo orba, to almost so mudding. Nadin Sacrano, dear Dima dance was a wagon, so what you so did not, what didn't run some so. And you do a young Tina make us say, so that would be a son. Obia so be a dim crosso, I can't make any pay. Or mongo this money you do. Say, who made an idea no best central question that come and your money, and yet woman no one quasi. Now, some irritated.
Right to me, so what's sorry I walk on, was of woman, yes, a soap.
Yes,
young runs and you do. The person 9 is a young Cacamedan,
sir.
In the emphasis on no quiet, Meda, and I remember Nini, I make Medan, not so far as there be that. Media Quasiera and Mijina, one with Rasoran, and no one was the TTT.
Now, I had Dana, putting a year in America, teach you any Australia. Australia, the chat one, say, or the Australia need to swallow. A Cromunian and a jam, a jersey. Now, Oba, Utah, and no America.
There be answer about Utah. A jana, a nipam from Swan, a tomb, and a come and fast with an
oh, Yana Bon. And no one would dinner a sparkajan.
Okay.
Or be anywhere, Cassabia or Cocus in a higher canon. I know Conunabe and a Jana Jennis. There be Australia, you come one posa, I buy my choke.
That's right.
Oh, we are not Bonnois, no, we are in Amodeno, not a Tijawu. Not my quiet nation. To acquire nation, in Miano, and not if that's as a son. To a Miano who can, Nippon Quahobeca. That's the young one, so tea. Nippon who we. That also mean Utah, America. Or mono a banner near Tessania, Ghana Hano, who call baby to say, I can say Western region.
That's right. In Miano, and Miano Cati, I game direct so.
Sir, only any bread to Caucasian. San America denity, Bebe Mundian Filibano, and one Asha Sia, Avi. Now, Omochilamo said, to say, Osia, Omunia di Yamukia Dumano, and Ma. omo ye bi no say papa no what the waterproof hold on kind of plastic okay plastic am pa che Ghana dey fi say bi ade plastic dey di nsuo gum di dare no yen kan waterproof omo ti ase
okay
and na wodi akata ne nua ba no so say be ya ebechi ohye no kakra na aye nsuo ade na because oyi free so bia no be hye no eno wo kan wuta no say e why den ne nyina owia ya yemra California ja no so California ja no se ahyepo mako opepe baako 1 million acres.
Wow.
Entino ojano a obia na ebo no a adane ja no ehyi akwaye no. Ehyi nuane saa. Enuane de ehyi na ehyi ko. Arizona de ne hwato.
Enfidi akese omo nyina mo ntimi num no.
Yes.
Nenke ba Ghana de ankasa matwe.
So. Entino yeye ka kire omo se saa ja ya hyehye yi enhye kwa. Abofo no a Bible kire se ebihwe owia so, epo so, enua so no. Omo na omo kasa kire ye no. Na nye ade a eye omo dese yeshi nua no na mom omo de twe yaso se be ya ye be hu se bibi nkoyi en na ye ka kire Christopher se ye to Yakobon mra ehu atwetwe no no
ehu popue
sa
en e de di
enti ya na so bi te se to fra be gira TV so se nyame mra ni ho na muntu mra no a di omo pa kire woni se abofo no wo mfa gya ne ehie mo so fo bi obeka se nyame mra ni ho no obo magya no ahyew bebre en ka se me ya bank sa so fo nyina mekyom nyina tu yes na abanti se mintino de be so
that's right
intino omo mpeso be kan de sa intino aye den na so popanin agya kronkron po Francis aye den na afi no wode krata ekoma wiase nyina ma na manfa ne fo nyina se niama esisie no se no wakukyere nsam egu krata so a na yidi bebu wiase na amasa na manyina no abrasa yes Cardinal Kwadwo Appiah Turkson wako United Nations June 2015
okay
na wodi atwere koy na atwere na wodi koy no eho video and ye pese bot se ye bo wi a ye beka
that's right adof no said ye kan no a Jack Kronkron Pope e de ngoma ye friend encyclical and as a ladder to see e de ko United Nations ko kire se wo sommu no eni ema bi nkoyie ne ye ABC dia ebebo ama ohaw ne ato range ama ye komun eto etimi etwaman yenko video imra eba yebeto aso.
I'm sure that we have all read this magnificent encyclical that His Holiness Pope Francis has blessed us with, and I would say it is an encyclical, the very first of His Holiness, that is the most eloquent expression that I have ever read of the moral imperative behind acting on climate change.
Pope Francis invites us to listen to this groaning of the earth, as if to remind us of what the prophet Isaiah had said, that the earth languishes because of the sins of humanity who dwell on it. And so Pope Francis would have us then would urge each one of us, individuals, families, local communities, nations, and even international community, to an ecological conversion.
I'm Kevin Clark, Senior Editor and Chief Correspondent for America Magazine. We're here tonight at the United Nations. We just heard Cardinal Turkson speak in defense of what was described here tonight as the Green Encyclical, Pope Francis's Laudato Si, which has been...
Yes, I am a probably with the Ghana this year. Cardinal Appiah Turkson on the go see Pope Francis and name UN. Now no this same evangelist of
mo na Roman Catholic for aso e be a canon American Jesuit. Ebra Cardinal Turkson or the krata ye call United Nations. But United Nations no eye amanaman nyinara ehia bia bia a omko hia wo afe amo anamusifo ewo ho ehɔ na omhia dwunu wiase ho enti letter no anakrata on de koma wo no wo de magana fo any amanka wo yase nyina mo ntia hyesa na de me pese metwe ahwefo adwen so ne se de Cardinal Turkson de koye no American Jesuits Roman Catholic for Amunkrabatani bi almost says idea no a signs of the times and the was screen so
that's right
now what the boss ketua bi kakamaye and no ye dia to screen so
okay American America, the Jesuit Review,
yes,
Green Encyclical goes to UN.
Sir.
Signs of the Time, July 20th to 27th, 2015 issues. Cardinal Peter Turkson, President of the Pontifical Council for the Justice and Peace, took Laudato Si on the road, presenting the Green Encyclical from Pope Francis to a packed audience during a special conference at the United Nations on June 30th.
I don't know how. Kratano, Roman Catholic asoye. Actually, said the audio con a signs of the times. Now we as the ni. Enti na me for my maminka omo no na wo SD na chi ne kire so omo ya kwanhwefo. Mo na mo hwe nyoma esisi obi mu.
Okay.
Senia abonme asapefo ade machine ehwe wie mu ekire de ekoso no. SD fo asanya
mo Bible na ehwe
mo de wam na hwe mu. Mo hwe ye no.
Edi na mo hu.
Edi na mo hu. And Roman for catch them said, Adi esi, a ye be young century signs of the times in Libya. So I just said, and you know, the American, Papa no de crata no coin, so say, Pope Francis say, we are seno, ye dear mea, a sign ye boninti, so go to Isaiah. Born in the day, Bonnie Mraton. Church of Christ was a millennium. And ye, Sasanity a bonin beneviasia. Saviason ya bonidia, and ye never never on if in nearby.
That's right.
So, na opening kasia ye banki mu ono kura mpo no wode aseda piesie e ma Pope Francis photo na wo screen so eda nase ne krata wode aba no ne photo na da so no enti ono de omuni ne keka ko.
That's right.
Sa krata ko yara na su gede be yata de ba na su gede be ba sa krata yara e na afiachi omo de ho afahye no e no ka se eno na ma wiase nyina tumi ene ahoden ene ahokeka yede amodiko chi pare agreement ni etum sakrata no.
That's right.
Adansi de ni bia omon kasa na ekasa no na ebio krata no mu no ena ajakonto Pope Francis etu wiase fo se no ma binum a ekoso a ye kan climate change no ono no na so ye no ayehwehwemu enti no de ho akwankyera ba omoji tu mu no de omoka kan ho ne se ebe hya ase ayedwuma mfie enum achi.
That's right.
In Fianum Netino, every 2015, Fianum
2020,
a baby 2020, I will for Francis document, I would have any Abasobon Samo, the Coma one, actually, media two screens.
Okay.
Makani is partly legally binding and partly voluntary and will take effect in 2020. And to almost share that a year home program, share I don't go aquam. Now, a more yan say 2020 now a buy and an affair from 2020. Nientia yan Tiomon can say, or one can say, COVID never buy no. Ebe how na omo de ho krata so buy. Krata no e be na media to spend so. International Institute for Sustainable Development. O de wo be kai etifia sem no pekeke kakra bi na bia two lines bi and
okay. International Institute for Sustainable Development.
Yes.
19th March 2020. COVID-19 pandemic disrupts UN meeting plans around the world.
Sir. So enti no omakasa jatum se COVID na buy no. UN plan omo ya ma ye no wi asere ko hia ye nhye ho ya to no yade no abetwetwam.
Nti ama postponement
enti ya to ahyeda. Enti ne ho pese nkomo ye na afi atwa mu no. Afi we e no me de abase on be di sa adwa no amaye. Na no ma no mo kan se Pope Francis kan se ye nye no. Ba ko aye se ye nua enua. Tree planting.
That's right.
I will document no. Na no me de ayi ato screen so. Date na every World Economic Forum for ho. You see bedua 1 trillion trees
around the world.
Around the world. O pepe ba ko. Eni nua ye nua. Na ewo Laudato Si no. Obi ankɔhwɛ paragraph 39. Watwere wo. Na wo twere no mame ba bia o ka se nua bia na media ato screen so.
Okay.
Or say planting trees, turning off unnecessary light. Say ye nua nkane mu hia ye num. Sa enti sa enuadua no a wo twere ko krata mu di ma amanama mpanimfo no. Omoji to mo se afi atwa mu yi ene be hya ase edua.
That's right.
Ena ya de ninti no ye ntimi ancha ase enuadua no. Enti no se afi we abade a se omo to hye da se afi we bedua. Enti no apagya ni mu. Na video bi akire betire mu mienu.
Adofo yetumra ya kire si Timese Productions why kradwa videos 6 and 7 wadaroma mu roma.
The World Economic Forum likes to talk about improving the state of the world. This year that means saving the planet. The headline achievement, a corporate and government deal to plant 1 trillion trees. That's 1 million, sucking 200 gigatons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere in the coming decade.
Who's against the trees? I mean, everyone's for the trees. The trees are a bipartisan issue. Everybody's pro-tree. I haven't met any anti-tree people yet.
Try Brazil's leader, Jair Bolsonaro, last year's star attraction in Davos. At its peak, logging in the Brazilian Amazon was destroying an area the size of 2 football fields every minute. Reforesting the world has attracted high-profile support, even from climate skeptic Donald Trump.
Today, I'm pleased to announce the United States will join 1 Trillion Trees initiative being launched here at the World Economic Forum. 1 trillion trees.
So, what does it mean?
Green Ghana Day.
Fellow Ghanaians, Friday, 11th June, has been designated as Green Ghana Day. I will, as President of the Republic and as co-chair of the eminent group of advocates of the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, lead the effort in planting 5 million trees on that day. We cannot sit by and watch as our trees, flora and fauna are wiped out. Our very existence is tied directly to the survival of trees. Without the oxygen that is produced by trees, we cannot survive as humans. So on Friday, 11th June, the tree planting exercise will ensure that we're not only sowing seeds just for one day, but also for generations to come. I urge all Ghanaians to join this clarion call and help preserve our environment. After planting the 5 million trees, let us help nurture them and make sure that they survive. Lend your support to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources as it executes this ambitious national assignment. On Friday, 11th June, I, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will plant a tree, and I expect you to plant one too. Let us make Ghana green.
Let's go planting!
Sign Emma Kwaba View, say, Yahusi Emma Penny Swaba Casa Kama, see in Nuya. Na Obi send a message and opus who say, a breben on which is Sardian at home. A woman of Pope de Koya can was made the Ladato see and I said the encyclical. Omo J and SDG 17 no enyina tum into 10 chamwa eyi and no na home popie efrasia eye edumenti yanko evangelist no mutasen and say evangelist
very well. And we aduane de ye foa so
papa
so ye nyankopon obonue wie ye kwansa na obonipa sa senka nepa tie nyankopon asem a enka emme ye oha mama mpani so onka nkire ye Ghana for say kodua nua ansa na kodua e se wanka setimi hu say enua no utwa so dua bi esi adam.
That's right.
Na nenti ya to din climate change gospel ne say ya to asase ya to nyankopon mra aye homeda no ya to da bia amapo kasa na men kamera na aka no omo nkire me ensoro wo wiase a omo e kire mo mase omo nsa awade omo kokoro no bo
omo nsomboso
omo nkire omo kire asori ye kire sa ade no a meka no so aka homeda no se Ghana ha so for ya no makwa mampani aka che se onhye mra se ma be ma ware be ma ba ware ba yes and so mo timi hu aka di omo nka ye no e na ye ka aka hu.
That's right.
Se omo mfa ti nyankopon hu meda na omo to no e hu aso twe because anya hu me na ne pekeko utu emra no to ba ko a watu ni nyina.
That's right.
Enti no mo hwe ne sa maye ma mfa woni ntu mfa woni nsi hu meda no so utu mra ne ba ko a watu ni nyina enti wiase ato nyankopon mra se the process de ko ye papa ne kan and na wasa so atwere krata de ama wiase na wo screen so se ye ni kwasiada ni na kwasiada no en na sa yen ene yakopon tamiare eno so de besa asase ne yade
wabere Jankopon de ne de toson so esi wo se enye ye ne ntam nsɛnkyerɛne na yɛnhu se wo ne Awurade Nyankopɔn ɔte ye ho no
saa
popo krata no ɛsesa na sɛ yɛmfa kwasi ada mo mesi eno anam
yes wahye no mpo awie eno na amanaman mpanimfo so agye atum sɛ krata na popo de aba no si agye nyina atum ne fa baako na edi no anua no enti aka ne fa aka sɛ yɛmfa kwasi ada nsi wo no eno so ba enti sɛ de nso na hyɛ ase edu anua no saa na mo de kwasi ada mra no so ba o medi so pepepe
that's right
so yɛn mo video baako edi akyire na wo de memfa masɛm nto dwa
adofo maka yɛ last video the production some are ready video 8 Mr. Mamuro MI.
You're on a very important mission here to Europe. Can you tell us why is it important to include a visit with the Pope during your visit to Europe to talk about climate change?
Well, the Pope is one of the great voices of reason and compelling moral authority on the subject of the climate crisis. He's been ahead of the curve. He's been a leader. His encyclical Laudato Si is really a very, very powerful document, eloquent and morally very persuasive. And I think that his voice will be a very important voice leading up to and through the Glasgow conference.
Yes, I am a quababio still. You're a evangelist or not teaching me evangelist.
Papa ya waka say. A year America man penny Joe Biden. You can't say America is back.
That's right.
Or no, and then suma papa say one in penny for Kasa. Na in Shaya was here, ye, near DJ climate change at Tumu. Any Marano washing in an idiot man. Sapa pen or down with friend John Kerry. Now, no call for Francisco. And then coding come up and some him. Na ye really beside say, and then our bar Europe abrichman. Over America na baha. Na a man penny for 1 year and 1 year be a jam cause Pope Francis. Okoye day. I don't say that be Pope Francis any packet one.
That's right.
Na ne woman no dia banela that to see no. Was very powerful. Just say ekuta ho to me. Ento okọ ne nchen kọje adwenkyere. Empo wasato nsa afre ne say meet ye ba ye no. Aye afebu so meto so do ba kono mu. Aye kọ ne o Glasgow no. Wombra bi no makasam. Bi say ono no ne chese ne mu odu. Enu so ofere okasa amanaman panimfo ne tie. Ena me ka kire wiase say saa kwasi ada no amude akwahye homa no mo pese omo community de be hye wiase nyina akon. Omo ye saa no na omo ko tie onyankopon.
Ebe me wiase kuwa
aye madodo. Ebere so sangoma aye to so mienu. Ye ka no Second Chronicles. Etire dumien sa chichemo ye dumienu. O kire mo say onyankopon se woni ne ko a ensi wiye.
That's right.
Ne tie wotwa mo anu. Die wiase ye no nyankopon ko na ensi enye da. Ye si enye ne say ne mra no aya hyeda boa pa eto ne yakopɛ mra ade abata ho se yento nyankopon mra no emma wiase ye nye yeda
e wo se yeti nyankopon mum sene
nipa sa na de na akoye enje bio won se next week meka ho asem Pentecost for duan ne bi ezi dua Methodist dua nsori nyina dua
ne kwanso
a na meka won kyerɛ zefo ebi se memehwe mu kakra ma yempo no omo sha se dua nua o Ghana ha no ache because say adra di o mba hye mu a okosire mo dua nua bebre cashew nuts atea adra fo dua bebre nya Ghana ha amanaman bebre so enti ba de se ye dua nua de a kamaka se fo di kan na mum de aba sese ya ye dua ne de pacho eno no efiri Laudato Si no.
That's right.
UN for hye enye boni no mon kai se omo wiase no kokko enhu de wo krata no mu a anya omo de kwasi ada ne ba omo timi ka hwe bi.
That's right. Evangelist me pacho han me pese obese sisu bi we a message to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the sleeping church. Kokobon mo na yesa mo bo na mo sa kokko no na mum ye kan se ye nkra de edi akire no evangelist sisu bi
ana meka no enua ne dua ne de men kan se ye boni
ne kwan so a
ye foa so anadwokora mo nkodua bi na mum de ewo krata no mu a edi enua ne dua na aba no kwase de so nka ho se omo ammo saa de no ho kokko ammo ho de wura nkyere wiase se ye boni na mo ye din ye hwe han enua ne de a omo de kwase da so no
emra
ba momu nkasem
sabre na kachi
mo
kokwa enye yi
momu nkasem omunye din kwasa no so mbekwa so mo nko na kakra na aka wo papa na aka no na ko be fa yam nko ya sem na titi
no we pam adaka no wo kanyamsem
enti mu dua nua na
na mo bo wi ase so kokko se yes se nyame ho me da na firi me da kokko sia da me mo nyintum
sa eno no ento se no nsore ne bi no program ya ye no se nra ye ko bompia so asafo na kasa che se da bi sofo no ho no je se me da no pa bia o se radio so ka nyame sem an onwan kasa gigire se da bi de ye wo TV nsusu ye bia enti asafo ma mo afode mo pamwa aye home based TV
program sofo yankopon hira papa
ye ko ta kwa onye bi no aso ye bi so ne bi hu se da bi de keka ko no ye nyina ye nkan ya no mo na nkransam ye mfam framam se na bofo ne fam framam
with one voice
strong voice eno ye kan wo ye Methodist ni afo sika bra wo ye Pentecost for sika because when ye nyina na ebo wiase no kokko enye se bia ye pedom akọ maka kire mo se mo asore nko ne memenda se no ne ye modern dia SD no I say toba abendada eno se oba no obebo su
that's right
na wuti wadiem ne ye kire ne nyina ye kwa ano asem ne ye tiawa enti no climate change gospel ne wo mo ne ye kwasada so no mo de ba no ebe ha dwen ti ye di kan bo amama ne ansana
evangelist nyankopon ti asofo ne insha papa so soon ye bre aso inyaya e be reading mo messages no na ya toa so na ochiame eni asem kan se na wasomu a de tie ne se memreda a yesesa de akokosia da ewo the Ladato Sea no ebinum adwene ye o montanta se how possible can this be seven pennies ade ekro ne bon kontene pe ne nya de eba ya kan ne bode ti ne to eba mu a wo se yedi kan de kokobo no atudwa se de nyame asem ehye no ye koso sremo se mon send sika eme support yen se de be ya ebetumi atua airtime no eka na number betumi send sika e de abaso no e 055 35 74 933 a good screen na so intro 055 35 74 933 o send this kd e be ba ne Joseph Anane na se unti bibia sen so na pese ofre evangelist na busa no the same number and I oversign a friend so person friend me Kofi Kakari so my number is 0244 132368 that's 0244 132368 you ko nyanko pon shira so okay pray na wo share dwumadi aseda kese enkom evangelist Joseph Anane and men so a friend suefu de share Kofi Kakari na wo twese ne wabrabo nunsia kobo no nso no edi yemre ebebo akwan so be me hu no kre no na no kre no ayi ade hye yedamase
Sweet Jesus, you're the wind beneath my wings. Sweet Jesus.